Hello friends, this is Cara-Renee with B.Reborn Art and Healing, coming to you with another tutorial. Today we're crossing over into a new journal making project. I mentioned to you that I have decided to do an autumn journal. I'm actually going to do two. We're going to talk about that here in a minute. I'm all done other than this bit that I'm doing today. I am all done with the sewing journals. I'm going to work off camera and get those journals done as well. I will let you know that the At the Beach journal has been sold. So yay, I was so glad that a familiar face purchased that for somebody that she cares about. So that's really a beautiful thing. So I'm hoping that you're going to find that the lighting and everything for videoing is better. I got some lights that hang on my monitor and I think they're going to do the trick because they don't cast any kind of shadow or anything on my desk, which is a problem because I have the glass mat, so everything reflects. So without further ado, let me go ahead and tell you what we're going to do. And I also have a quick share when we're done with the digital. So this is the project that we're going to be making. This is the template. So what we have here is this kind of looks like an envelope a little bit, but this flips up. It's tucked in with a closure there with that punch that I use often, and it pops up like that, and then you can write on this, and this. It kind of reminds me of a house a little bit. So this would be writing space all in here, and then the dimensions are for this base piece, this triangle and the back piece are all one piece, and it measures 5 inches wide by 9.5 inches tall, scored at 4 3/4 inches, which is this line here. And then our other piece is this piece. So it measures 4.5 inches tall by 10 inches wide, and then scored at 2.5 inches on each end. Now I did find for some reason that I had to trim a little bit off. I don't like mine to bump, touch there, so I did trim them. I've got a little bit of a gap now, but that is okay. For the closure, you could cut any shape that you want for the closure. You could use a whale tail tab. You could use something like this. You could use a circle, a square, an oval, whatever you like. So we'll see what we do with the one for today. So that is the template. I will take a picture of that and you can grab it at the end of the video as well as on my social media. So this is, I made one for each of the sewing journals. So for the Bright and Cheery sewing journal and the vintage sewing journal. So again, it just pops up like that. And then you've got all this writing space. Super easy peasy. And you know how I feel about that. Now, for some reason, that is binding there, and I'm not sure why. That should not be catching there at all, unless I was just lazy when I folded that. There we go. And then this one's for the Bright and Cheery. I just put a little butterfly with some blingy bead, flat back beads on there. And then we've got that also that flips up, and then boom, you've got writing space. So there are also a lot of variations one could do with this. I'm keeping it really simple today. So one could, well, we're going to Velcro these into a journal because then the whole thing can be removed, easily written on, and then put back. But if you didn't want to do that, you could also, so let's say this was your journal page and you're over here. So this is where maybe this is where your fold is. And then you'd still be able to write on that pretty darn well. So you could totally glue it all the way down, and then you could make it a tuck spot. You could put something behind here, or you could put something in the side. It would be totally up to you. So that is also an option. We are going to, so this is where we're going to talk about the fall / autumn journals. We're going to be making one of those on camera today, but I'm going to set that aside for the moment. We'll talk about it. So I have picked 4 different digital kits for the project. So I mentioned, I think in another video, that Rose from Wild Rose Bohemian reached out to me and sent me a bunch of her stuff, her new fall digitals. I went through them and I was like, oh, I love it. So I do not like traditional fall colors at all. So we are going to make 2 journals. One is going to be, let me skip around. I'm so sorry to be doing this to you, but we're going to make one that's kind of got this kind of feel to it. So we've got, this one is Shabby Chic Autumn Pages from J4F Designs for You. And then this is Scrimping Mama. That's Amanda over there. So we're going to make one journal with this kind of look. Okay. So I'm not sure exactly, you know, how we're going to roll with that, but let me just flip through and show you some of Amanda's. So really, really beautiful. I don't always like this look of, like, I don't like the people and stuff that are put in some of these digitals, but I really like the pastel colors. I like the green pumpkin. I don't like the really bright orange. I love the pink blush colors. That really is up my alley. Fall is one of my hardest seasons of all of the year, so I tend to not move towards really traditional fall things at all. So, and some of these arrangements are just so beautiful. So that is Scrimping Mommy, and then these are the background pages, which I'm loving as well. And I don't mind this color. It's because it's more of a, almost like a tangerine orange. It's not a traditional orange, so I like that. And then I love what she did with these background pages. Look at those. Just really scratchy. And so this is where I get a little bit, like, I'm not sure if I love them or not, but I love people in my journals. So I'm going to use them anyway. But just the whole AI thing is just a hard for me. It's just hard. And then she's got fussy cuts. And these are mirrored fussy cuts, so they can go back to back, which is a nice thing if you want to use them for tabs or whatever. I just printed them regular size. I'll probably go in and print 2 to a page to get all of these images smaller. Okay, some pockets and some journal cards to go in them. And then here are more pages. I'm loving these arrangements here. We got a lot of writing space in this area. And then tags and more journal pages. I got these mixed up apparently. And then we've got pages with writing space or writing lines. I love that. So that is what we're going to be working on for this kind of theme. Okay. So that I think is going to marry up really well with this one. So I'll show you just a couple pages of this one. I want to be able to get on with the show, so to speak. So I'm going to set that over there. And this is very similar in many ways. Now, I didn't realize that some of the pages are landscape. I mean, they're portraits, so I'll have to figure that out and print them again. But these are the double pages, so you'd fold here. I'm not super fond of how AI and cartoonish that looks, but I love everything else about it, so I'm going to enjoy it because I love the sweetness and the innocence of it, especially during this season. So that's some of those pages. I'm not going to go through all of them. She's got some really pretty ephemera, I think is really lovely. I also don't do scarecrows, so but I love the greens and stuff in here, and it just goes with Amanda's kit beautifully. So that's what we're going to be using. I'm just going to have to go in and print. Typically when I've got a portrait page, I go in and print 4 to a page, and then I get some nice journal cards, or print 2 to a page, and then I can get something a little bit different that's more usable. So that is from J4F Designs for You. And then these are this is just a and then Liana Scraps. So I also loved this pink autumn kit from Liana Scrap. I get a lot of her stuff because it's got a lot of those pink tones, but again, those kind of tangerine-y looking oranges that I think are really pretty. And I think this will be a good complement for the journals. So they'll probably both be 3 signature journals. Love those hydrangeas. Oh, gorgeous. And I'm not a super big fan of that, but we will work around it. I love that. And then this, I think, is my favorite image. This little girl. I just The innocence is just always captures me. So this kit is from Liana Scraps. So I didn't get her full kit. I just got the main pages. So there we go. And then I printed a boatload of stuff from Wild Rose Bohemian because her stuff is amazing. Now, I struggle with the AI, so when it comes to people, I'm probably not going to really use a lot of the people unless they look a little bit more real. But you got to check out Rose over at Wild Rose Bohemian. She put out a massive amount of fall kits. So everything for her and these other creators will be linked down below in the video description box. And these are all from different kits from her. But look at this. Oh, look at that grungy, like it's almost like a concrete slab kind of look. So beautiful. And then we've got some script. And again, we've got that kind of a rose undertone with some greens. And then this, I didn't pull all the stuff out, but I just love the vibrancy of these colors. Look at that. It's just the pinks and the peachy colors are so gorgeous. There you can get a little bit of a better look at those tones there. And then these are just some background pages as well. I thought we would introduce because they're great filler pages, and these as well. This is just a blank piece of paper that's got some Model Depose number 437 Paris. So we're going to use that. And then I love this kind of damask look. Again, it's got those kind of almost muted out minty green, which I think is really pretty. And then I have to figure out how I'm going to incorporate all these together, because this is her Fall in Paris. These are her Fall in Paris papers. Look at that. And I was actually looking for a Fall in Paris digitals, and then she sent me the email, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't believe it. So I only pulled a smattering of things that I'm choosing. I think I'm working with 8 different kits in her collection, so they will all be linked. So I love these for tags. They're kind of that embossed look of just a plain background, and then we've got some oval, scalloped oval things. I thought those would be fun to play with. And then I'm not really sure about these tones, but I do like the numbers in terms of for this journal. I think they're beautiful, but I'm not sure for this journal. These are probably some of the few people I will use, because they don't look as AI to me as some other things. So I will probably use those. There's more than just those two. And more smaller cards and large tickets. I just wanted you to see what the pockets look like. They're really beautiful as well. And then more tags with just interesting layered up backgrounds, I think are really gorgeous. And then this is also from her, and I'm going to be using a lot of this, but I also want to see if I can bring in this red, kind of a mauvey color, because I almost see that tone in some of these petals and stuff. So I'm hoping that I can incorporate it. We'll see. So without further ado, let's get on with the project. That was a lot of sharing. I do have one more thing to share so I can clear this off my desk. So I went to the beach with my sisters, and I went to my favorite antique shop, which is in Wheeler, Oregon. It's a coastal town, and I got a piano roll, and it's like in pristine condition. So I'm going to start using using some piano roll in my work as well. I have one other one, but I've never really used it. So that is that. And then I found a book, a Heidi book from, let's see what I paid $18 for it. It is copyrighted in 1925, but I love the font. The paper feels glorious. It's not thick, it's not thin, but it's a bigger print, and I think it's going to be great for some book page work. So, and it's got a few really cute images as well. Not a lot of pictures in it, but just a few like that one. Just so precious. So we will be using those in the future. So I just wanted to share that with you because that was a really fun find. I found some postcards, just at the antique shop. So I'm trying to collect a little bit here and there. And then I got one magazine, or two magazines that are the Post, the Saturday Evening Post. This is 1963. Talks about John F. Kennedy. So I want to read it before I do anything else with it. And then one from 1964. I was born in 65, so it's kind of cool to see, to flip through these and look at the images and stuff. And then we've got a Life magazine from 1946. So isn't that so cool? I love it. I don't have a lot of really large magazines, but so these are going to be really fun to incorporate. Look at that into my journal. So anyway, just wanted to share that with you because otherwise, once it gets put away, I will forget about it. So on with the show. Let's get this puppy made. Okay, so I'm going to just pull the template out here, and I'm going to move my glue and other sundry things. And the first thing that we're going to do is put that word up there. I just picked the word beautiful. I did purchase some autumn quotes and words because I don't have a lot of that, because I tend to gravitate away from creating this kind of thing in the fall. So not that I haven't made a fall journal before, but I do definitely struggle with it. So we've got two pieces of paper. These are both from Wild Rose Bohemian. So we'll just decide which we want to be which piece of paper. And then I printed this one out 4 to a page because I want that girl. I want her as part of the decoration. So I'm just going to set that over there for the moment. So the first thing that we're going to do is talk about which one we want to use for what. I think that I would like to, I think I want this to be the writing space part. Yeah, this part. Sorry, I'm not being very clear. This part here. Okay, so it will be it'll be face down when we're done. So we're going to be able to capture some of those flowers on the edge. So I think that's what I'd like to do. So let's go ahead and set the other piece aside, and we'll talk about how we do this. So this piece measures 4.5 inches tall by 10 inches wide. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and do the 10 inches first. Whoops, everything's falling down. So I'm going to cut it off of this end. So we want that to be 10 inches. Okay. So I can see it's interesting because I can see the lights here, but you guys can't. So I'm liking that. I'm liking that. So there we go. There's 10 inches. And then we want it to be 4.5 inches tall. So let me look and see what we lose here. So I don't really want to lose all of either flower. So I think I'm going to go up a little ways here, and I'm going to cut off some of that flower as well. So, yeah. And then we'll go this way and take off the rest of it. So 4.5. So there we go. Yeah, that'll do. Okay. So then what we want to do is we are going to score 2.5 inches in on each side. So let me make sure, because I'm sure that's right, because you've got 5. Oh, wait a minute. That's what I did wrong. Hang on. Let's see. So this is a total of 10 inches wide. So you've got, sorry guys. Let me see what this measures. Yeah, 10 inches. So this center part that says writing space is 5 inches. So basically you've got 5 inches for your center. So that means you've got 5. So you got 2.5. So yeah, 2.5 is right. I'm not sure why I'm having to shave stuff off of mine, but I have on all those that I did. So I'm going to go ahead and put this in my trimmer using the score tool. And I'm going to line this up to 2.5. And I'm just going to flip it around and do the same thing on the other end. 2.5. Okay. And so then we're just going to fold this and get that nice and burnished here. I'm just going to grab for my bone folder. And yeah, see, it's overlapping. Isn't that weird? I guess it's not really a problem if it's overlapping, but it just seems strange that I'm getting that. It's happening. It's just, I don't understand. What's wrong with the math? It's 2.5. 2.5 and 2.5 is 5. And then 5 in the center, that's 10. I don't know. I don't know why that's happening. So feeling like I need to take off like 1/8 of an inch off of each side. So if you guys are seeing what's missing, what I'm missing, I would love to hear your comments. I just don't understand why this is happening. When the math, in theory, the math should work out, but math is not my strong suit, so I could be missing something very elementary. I'm just trying to get that so I don't take off too much. Yeah, just like that. Okay, let's see where we end up. Yeah, that's better. So interesting, isn't it? But look at that, so pretty. So pretty. And I love the rounded edges, so we're going to do that just like I did on the samples or on the other one. So we're going to use the 7mm rounder. And I'm going to round all the corners here, and then we'll get the other piece out, and then I'll do some inking, but I won't make you watch that. I'll just cut that out. So just rounding all of these. So how are you guys doing? We are headed into another hot week of weather here in the Pacific Northwest in Washington State. Not looking forward to that. It's hard when we're at school because we tend to move around a lot, and so then you just get hotter, and you just get so much hotter than if you're just not at school or not at work and you're in a beautifully air-conditioned environment. So there, so that piece is ready. So then the second piece is the base, which we're not going to see much of the base other than the flap. Okay, we are going to see some on the back. Which if you were to, so the other option that you have would be to stick this in a pocket, because it is 5 inches. So you could fit it in a gusseted pocket and have plenty of room for it. But we're going to go ahead and just pretend that the back is not going to matter in terms of, it's probably going to be Velcroed down. So this piece again measures 5 inches by 9.5. So let me just get that out of the way. And I'm just going to move that for a moment. So 10 or 9.5, excuse me. So I'm going to go ahead and trim this to 9.5 inches. This is going to be a fast video, guys, other than my yakety yak and my sharing. But I wanted to bring that information to you so that you know what's coming up. And then we'll move into the neutral journals that we talked about. But I really feel like I need to face into doing the fall journal. So 5 inches, so that would be there. I just want to make sure we don't lose that beautiful flower, so that's what I'm hoping to achieve here. So 5 inches, yeah, I'm happy with that. And then this one you are going to score at 4 3/4, which should be half. Okay, so 4 3/4, we're going to score it. I have to come down here. I learned the hard way. I'm like, how is this cutter score tool going to work when it doesn't go up enough? And so you can't come down. So I figured, okay, well, what you got to do is just score at the bottom and cut from the top. So I figured it out. Just like I figured the lights out. Like I bought 3 different sets of lights. Now I have to return 2 of them, but I got what I needed. So thankfully Amazon is my friend. So we're at 4 3/4 score line. Okay. And then we should be done with the cutter. So I'm just going to move that out of the way. And then go ahead and fold that in half and give it a good burnish. So again, oh no, that's going the wrong way. What? That's not going to work because it's going to go like this. It's going to be sideways. Okay, let me pull those digitals out, guys. That was not what I had intended. So let me see if I've got another one we can replace that with here. The peachy, I think it's towards the back. So everything is directional. Man, I'm not probably going to be able to find something better. You do want to think about that because you need the height in this piece, because it needs to be what did I say, 9.5 inches. So I do not have another one unless I use something like this, but still you're well, no, that's going the right direction. Leave that out and consider it. I do have more to choose from. I just don't really want to pull it out. So you know what? I'm just gonna wish I had noticed that before. So what would this look like? I think this would look weird. No, maybe not. Actually, I think that might be pretty. Let's do that, because the only thing that's going to show is the triangle. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm sorry for the change in plans, but I want to have it be what I want it to be. So I'm going to just cut this down the same as I just did that other piece, and I'll be right back. Okay, there we are. So now we're back to our, it's 5 inches by 9.5, so 5 and 9.5. So we're going to go again and score at 4 3/4. And again, just like my other measurements, something's awry because I end up having too much. So maybe my math is just wrong, but we'll work with it. So 4 3/4. So right there. Just trim off the excess. Don't fret about it, okay? So let me show you what I mean here. I'm just going to fold this. Oh, no, this one worked out. Nope, see, we've got a little bit of an overhang. Just ever so slight. Isn't that weird? So let's just cut it off. It's not a big deal. Okay. I do like this trimmer. It's cutting fairly accurately for just being a regular trimmer. So there we go. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and round these corners. Make sure I'm not getting ahead of myself. Oh no, I don't want to do that. Hold on. So, so when you're looking at this, I think I actually want this to be the triangle. So or the envelope looking thing. So what we're going to do is we're going to line this up on the grid. And we're going to mark at halfway in the middle of the bottom part. Where did my pencil go? Yeah, so this is the fold, this is the opened edge. So you want the open edge down if you're going to follow along with what I'm doing, how I'm doing this. We're going to mark that halfway. Okay, and then we're going to turn this and we're going to mark 1/4 inch from the fold line, just 1/4 inch. Okay, because I want a little bit of an edge here, and that'll make more sense in a second. Okay, so when we cut, we're going to have just a little bit. Let me show you on my samples what I mean, because I'm not doing a very good job. See how we've got this little bit here? Instead of it being just an abrupt cut all the way, it's just a little bit of a different angle. So I'm going to grab my pencil and my ruler, and what I'm going to do now is I'm going to line up that point where I just marked 1/4 inch from the fold and have it meet this, and then just make sure that's nice and lined up. Okay, make a line. Do the same on the other side. Okay, again, perfection is not at play, so don't be too concerned about that. I'm just going to use my scissors just because it's easier to see right now. So I'm going to go ahead and just cut that little triangle off. Okay, and go do the other side as well. Okay, get that out of the way. I'm going to find my eraser. I sort of cleaned up in between planning and doing here. And then my husband and I tried to go run to Lowe's. He's working on some outside stuff. He's going to give the outside of the house a little bit of a touch up. But we went and it was a waste of a trip because they didn't have what he needed. So I don't like that pointy point. So if you like the pointy point, leave it. I don't like it. So I have this little mini mister, because I can't get a corner rounder in there. It won't work. So I'm going to just put this right here, and I'm going to put this little end of the bottle on here, and I'm going to just use it as a guide. Actually, I'm going to use my grid too, because that might help me to get it exactly where I want it to be. And I'm just going to make a pencil mark, and then I can just cut around it. I can't cut that curve all on my own, so I'm going to grab my fussy cut scissors and just round that out a little bit. Now, if you like the point, you can leave it. I just don't care for it. Just like the pointy nails. Oh, my granddaughter Kenzie, she has the point. She puts on her own fake nails, like just from the department store. And she likes those ones. I'm just like, oh man. So what this is going to do, it's going to look like this. Oh, that's so elegant. Look at that. That was a good choice. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ink around the inside and outside of both of these pieces. And I'm going to round the four corners on this one, and I'll be right back. The inking always feels like it takes so long on camera. I know that's not really the reality, but... And you guys would never know because it's just a flip of the page, okay? So now we're going to go ahead and just plop this in here. It should be the same, well, almost the same width as the base, but I like to leave room here. So I'm going to make sure that I leave some space there. And then I'm just checking out my point. Oh, it's perfect. The point is perfect. So we're going to go ahead and glue this down with Fabri-Tac. And with Fabri-Tac, as I often say, is beautiful because you get time to move it. So we can just set that down and then just move it to our heart's content until we feel like it's exactly where we want it to be. That looks really good. And I'm just going to open that up and give it a good press here on the base. So now you've got all this writing space. It's a lot of writing space, really low profile. Okay, so now what you got to do is you need a closure. So I think I'd like to focus with the orange or this peachy color, but I'm wondering if we should bring in this. I don't know if that might be a little bit too bold. We could use this, or we could use this. So I think I'm going to still use my same punch because I like it, but you can use what you have. You could also, well, let's try a triangle. Let's try a triangle since I haven't done that. So let's do a 2x2 triangle. I'm just going to use my grid here. I better even that out though, since I just cut it by hand. Probably not even. Well, not bad. Not bad. Okay, so we're going to go 2 inches by 2 inches. I think I did a square on the template, didn't I? Did I? No, I did not. I think that was on another template that ended up being too big. I was trying to fuss with the measurements and I made it too big and it wouldn't have fit in a journal, so I just scrapped that template. So we're going to go ahead and round these again with the 7mm since that's what we've been using. Now you could also make this a rectangle, but let's see what she would look like. I feel like that's so plain. I don't like it. I do not like it. Is there any part of this that I like? I feel like we need this. We need this tone. Maybe this corner up here. Okay, let's try that again. I go 2 inches by 2 inches. I might make it a little bit smaller, not make it a square but a rectangle. But I'll show you. Maybe we'll go 1 3/4 instead. So I like that tone there. So let's see, 1 3/4 or 1 1/2. Sorry if you can hear the TV. I had somebody make a comment on a video that said that I should edit out the noise. You can't edit out background noise. It's part of the recording, so You know, I hope that's not bothering too many people, but it's not really something that I can control. Yeah, I kind of like that contrast there. This is also really pretty though, because it's a little bit more of that peachy, but yeah, let's just go with this. I'm feeling so uncertain. Oh, but look at this. Oh man, we gotta do it. We gotta do it. You gotta do what makes you happy, guys. So I'm gonna use this piece because I like that blue, because it's gonna tie everything together with the other piece. So let me show you what I mean. So do that one more time. Welcome to my circus ride. I'm loving seeing what everybody's doing in the group. I do know that today is the last day of August. I will hopefully get a chance to look at the challenge tomorrow, and you know, and figure out what we're doing. So that I like. I like that we're bringing. We've got that peach. So yeah, that was a better choice. So what you want to do is you don't want to have it be too far over. You just want it to catch. So I'm going to just go like that. And then what I did, to just so I know where to put the glue, is I held that, I flipped it over, and I do this often, so hopefully it's ringing some bells. And then I just make a pencil line so that I know that I do not want glue on that part. So then I just put my Fabri-Tac on the rest of it, and then I actually just line this up again, so like this. It's not sticking to this right now, so we can just kind of lower it just to get it in the general location that we want it, which is not really working out very well, and pull it down, and then boom. You just want to make sure that you didn't get it didn't shift and you've got glue under there, okay? So that is perfect. I love that. Oh, this journal is going to be so pretty. I don't know. I may have to do something else with those really, really bright, vibrant colors. We'll have to see. That might be a little bit much for the journal, but we'll see as we roll out the ephemera. So that is it. So I want to put a little bit of lace on here. So I've got just a bit of this, my lace from Spain, and I'm going to see if I can shabby it up a little bit here. I've got that sewn finished edge so it doesn't tear. You have to kind of cut it. Okay, like that. And our word is small because it's just says beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. You are so beautiful to me. Can't you see? You're everything I hoped for. You're everything I need. There we go. Oh, I love it. So pretty. So let's go ahead and round the edges on this because we don't want it to be square in a round world here on this project. There we go. So I'm thinking about doing something a little bit different with the supply list this time because I'm using a lot of kits and I'm not gonna be able to link them on social media. So I think what I'm gonna do is I'm going to create a blog post that has all of the kits that I'm using for a particular project. So I'll let you know what that's going to look like, but and I'll just put a link. Hey, if you want the links to all of the kits used in this project or in this journal, you can go to the blog and click on this link. So I think that's what I'm going to do. Just occurred to me just now while we're talking. So you see what I mean about that blue? So we're pulling all of this together. It's not, so it doesn't look like it's standing alone, which is kind of it is an art theory and it is an art practice, and it just creates a lot of continuity in your project when you can do that, tie things together. So because it's about where the person looking at it, you know, where is their eye traveling? Like, what are they seeing? What is that journey like for them? And you want something that's going to really help the eye to just kind of keep moving around the project. So look at how beautiful that is. It doesn't even need anything, but we're going to see if we've got some peachy bling in here. So let me just pull out. Oh, we do. Remember these that we used on that other project? They're not quite the right color, but we could use these, could use something else here. Let's see. So I feel like it's not really that color. It's not that color, but what about the white or the cream colored? Oh, we could use this. I just have one of that color, which is almost that blue. I think we'll do that. So I think what we're going to do is use two of these white or cream larger ones and go up here. Nope, that's a writing space, so we do not want to do that. But this is also a writing space. So perhaps what we need to do is just put something here. That's not going to work. Darn it. Okay, we can't do that because this is intended for writing space. So I don't want to create some bulk that's going to make it impossible for the person to journal. So let me just think about this a second. So what we could do is we could have put a little bit of lace on the top just to give it a little decoration. And then we're going to put the hard part of the, I hope you guys understand my English. The hard part of the Velcro, and then when we put it in the journal, we'll put the soft side on. So we're just gonna put it on all four corners because it's just gonna be attached to the journal with Velcro dots. If you've never tried this, I would encourage you to do so because it is amazing. Okay, so there we go. So let me find some lace here really quick. I think this one will do. I was just bumping into this. I got this at the craft store at the antique shop in their lace area, and I think I'm going to coffee dye that because it's really beautiful. I think I got about 3 yards of that, so maybe I'll do that tomorrow. Tomorrow is Labor Day, and the last day off before we head back to work after a 4-day weekend, which is always a treat. So let's go ahead and glue this on. Why do these videos always end up so long when I'm only doing one sample? So I do want it to be on the top because when this opens, you don't want it to bind. So we're going to just put it there. We can trim off the edge. Well, actually, we can't trim off the edges afterwards. So maybe we should go this way instead. I really wanted those gems though. That would have been so pretty. Yeah, I suppose I can trim around it when I'm done. So I'm going to go ahead and put glue on my the top of this. Probably a little bit more than 1/4 of an inch down. I don't know if you guys can see that. And I'll have to grab for a paper towel. You don't want to know what I've been doing in the studio, guys. I try things and then they don't work. They're uncomfortable. They strain me. So I end up putting it back the way it was. So I've got my paper towels over to the left again. And my cart back over to the right where it blocks me. Kind of boxes me in here to my desk. But yeah, it's working better. At least for today. But, you know, you got to do what you got to do in your space. Whatever helps you be productive and creative is what you want to do. So I'm going to go ahead and open that up. And I really want to not waste this lace. So I was telling Katie and I were emailing about some watercolor stuff and told her that I was hoping to get out in the studio and do a watercolor tutorial, but it's going to be like 97 degrees on Wednesday, so that is not going to happen this week. Look at that. Elegant. Oh my goodness, look at that. That is beautiful. Good choice, Cara-Renee. And then we could put something here. Oh, our girl. Yes, I forgot about our little girl. Although she is a lot more pink than she is peach, but we're gonna cut a bit of that out and see what we want to do with her. See what we want to do with her. Oh, she's so pretty. I actually think I want to do a rectangle with her. Kind of a tall rectangle, so give me a second. And so when you're just layering paper, you're not affecting the writing space. But when you start adding three-dimensional items, it can be problematic. Now we could do a strip of paper across here. You know how I like to do that. So let's see if we've got a piece of this paper that we could do that with. Again, it's going to tie everything together. That one right there. So we're going to go ahead and put that down. And see how that, we've got that same color up here now. So I do want to keep as much of that as possible. So, what I'm going to do this time is I'm going to make a line here and a line here right on the image. Okay. And then I'm going to put my glue and then I'll trim this off of the, I'll trim the excess off. So my glue lines are here. I go all the way across, all the way down to the second pencil line, and then all the way to that edge and this edge. Okay. Hope this is making sense and is helpful. And then, oh, we need to ink this though, because some of it we won't be able to get back to. So we can always ink the cut off corners in a second. So cut off edges. So I'm going to go ahead and set that down. And again, I want as much of that, I want to retain that bit on this corner. I feel like I'm speaking in another language. I'm so sorry. I'll erase that pencil line. I can see it, but I'll do that when it's dry. And then we're just going to trim this off. As I've mentioned before, I really love making that separating piece because it just adds interest and it doesn't take a lot of effort, and I think it's really pretty. So I need to straighten that out. Oh my! Ink that edge. Ink that edge. Okay. Oh yeah, look at that. So we've got that bluish gray here, and we've got it here, and we've got it here. So that is perfect. Let's go ahead and tuck this in just so we can make sure that it's all copacetic. Okay, as they say. And nothing got stuck that wasn't supposed to get stuck. Yep, there we go. It takes a while for it to train down because we're working, I forgot to mention I'm working with 65-pound paper. So it can be a little bit bulky. You could probably go thinner on the folded piece and reduce some of your bulk, but I don't mind it. And then we're going to go ahead and put our girl here. Does that look weird? I think she needs to be a little bit shorter. Sorry, guys. Sorry, girly. Sometimes you don't know until you know, right? And then we'll be done, guys. Hopefully I can trim this video down because in real time it's 56 minutes. And we only did one project. How does that happen? How does that happen? I want to know. There we go. Look at that. Oh, and she is beautiful. So the only thing I don't like about this image is that we're bringing in pink into a background that doesn't have pink. But the journal is going to have a mix of pinks and peaches. So I think it's going to be amazing. So that is it for today. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope that you give it a try. Again, the template will be pictured at the end of the video. You can either grab a screenshot or you can just, if you're on my social media, you can just right click on the picture and just save it to your device. I have no problem with that whatsoever. So have fun, and I will see you in the next video. Take care. Bye-bye.